And our first guest this week joins me in the studio, Mr. William Sumpus. He is the CEO of T3 Motion Incorporated. TTTM's their stock symbol. Bill, good to see you again.
Good to see you, Don. How are you today?
I am doing great. I know we've been trying to get you back in the studio here for about 3 or 4 weeks. You've been insanely busy. We'll talk about that. But tell us again what the company does.
So T3 Motion is the world's premier manufacturer and inventor of the electric stand-up vehicle with three-wheel technology. So we build electric stand-up vehicles for governments and law enforcement all over the world. We're distributed in about 30 countries. You'll find us in shopping centers, airports. You'll find us at LAX to San Diego to JFK and New York City. So we work closely with law enforcement in terms of trying to build a product that will allow law enforcement officers to actually get down to the pedestrian and crowd level, and travel into transverse areas that are, crowded environments.
Now, I know that you're celebrating it. You've basically been CEO of the company for a year. It was an interesting story how you did take over the company. You just recently filed a K, some pretty good news in there. Why don't you share some details with us?
So I've been in office for a full year. Actually, I had my one-year anniversary here about the 1st of March, actually. And so we're just now reporting the last 3 quarters because we're closing our 2013 year here out. So we've got the K. We filed a preliminary statement along with an extension as we're trying to close the final documents out. And in that statement, it shows that we're going to report an operating loss of about $2.5 million in 2013. Now, while that isn't a fantastic number, relatively speaking, it's a fantastic number. We've got a history here of losing anywhere from $6 to $10 million a year. In 2012, the company burned more than $6.3 million in cash.
Wow.
So in my operations in 2013, I'm only reporting for the last 3 of that. We had my predecessor in there for the Q1 of 2013. We were able to take those monthly losses of about $520,000 a month, and we only lost $2.5 million in the year. And of that 2.5, 1.15 of that was my predecessor's loss from the first quarter. So if you look at it, I lost $1.3 million in 3 quarters as opposed to $4.5 million in the comparable period in 2012. So year over year, our results were about 60% better. If you look at the time that we exclude the first quarter from my predecessor, those numbers are much better, probably 80%. And a lot of the changes that I was working on, in 2013, of course, take time to ramp in. So as we get into 2014 here now, I'm going to own 2014, and it's going to be a great year.
Well, I almost think we should have a ticker tape parade of electric vehicles, T3 Motion vehicles, with you leading off the party, because that's a tremendous turnaround. I mean, I want to pat you on the back for that.
Well, thank you. It's been a big job, and obviously, when you come into a broken company, you've a lot of different things that you got to fix. I mean, not only management issues and things like that, but production, your supply chain, your distribution model. I mean, there's a lot of areas that you've got to fix, and some of that stuff takes time to figure out and ramp in, and you've got lead times in terms of, trying to modify your supply chain and product manufacturing processes and the rest of it. So pretty proud of the number for the first year.
Let's face it, when a company loses $6 million in a year, such as had been under your predecessor, it's not because you're leaving the lights on in the coffee room too long. I mean, the whole chain of command has to be looked at, which is basically what you've done, right?
Exactly. So, I mean, we went from the top down. So we started at the top, started cleaning house up there and putting people in to get the job done and taking out the waste. We in the first quarter here, 2014, we've taken another $900 out of the cost of every vehicle we build. That represents about a 20 to 25% reduction in product costs, in our BOM costs, just in the first quarter that we'll see as we get into 2014. So, and those changes took 6 months. I mean, we changed, manufacturers for our fiberglass production, our steel sources, battery suppliers. I mean, a lot of the components are now coming from new supply chain partners. And so there's been a lot of efficiencies.
Now, I know you also have concentrated on ramping up sales and, obviously more revenues. That helps that whole bottom line as well. Tell us about that.
So obviously it is all about the top line ultimately. I mean, a lot of companies get by with tremendous, losses if they didn't have the top line to support it. So, we are number one is we had to get the bottom line and the cost out of the business, and now we're growing the top line. First quarter again is looking really strong. We didn't quite get where we'd wanted to get to, although it was more related to issues related to some of the new production and things like that, where we brought a lot of new processes in-house that were previously done outside and by third parties. So we did that to get more efficient, to take costs out of a lot of our manufacturing. And as we did that, we had some startup issues related to just trying to get the flow and the efficiency through our lines. So first quarter is still going to be a tremendous improvement over the fourth quarter of 2013. Sales are strong. We closed the quarter out in 2014 with a pretty decent backlog, and sales are very brisk already headed into 2014 here in the second quarter. So.
Now, you had spent some time on the show, not too long ago, thinking that there was going to be a quarter here in 2014 where you're going to report a profitable quarter.
Sure.
Is that still on target?
It is, absolutely. I have no doubt that we'll get there. And then we've got a couple of opportunities we're working on for some M&A activity for the company. So, it's all about, number one, is we need to build a business that was sustainable. Now we need to grow the top line, distribution, grow the product line, et cetera. Matter of fact, I hope in the next couple of weeks to have a couple of big announcements. We had a couple of the original founding sales executives that built our initial sales channel. We built all of our relationships with LAPD, LASD, New York PD, Dallas PD, Target, G4 Security, a lot of Simon Malls. I mean, a lot of our major customers, and these guys had left the company under previous management due to disagreements with management about the way the company was being run, and they went and helped build a competitor called Vectrix.
Okay.
So Vectrix, which was a European company, actually, and their U.S. operations were losing about $5 million a year in 2013, and they ended up closing the thing down. They ran out of funding. They were owned by a Chinese company, and ultimately, I've been kind of crafting new relationships, rebuilding those relationships, about to announce, I'm hoping that I'm going to announce that we're going to bring some of these guys back. And if I can, and I don't have any doubt that I'll get that done here in the coming weeks. As we get that done, that's kind of the finishing pieces that I need to put in place to help build our sales channel, bringing back some of the experienced staff that we had in the past that originally built a lot of our distribution, and now with a much more efficient organization to support them and manufacturing that can actually deliver the volumes that they can sell. I think that we've got the right formula here now that will allow us to achieve all of the goals that we had set for profitability in 2014.
That's great. Again, T3 Motion Incorporated, TTTM is their stock symbol. I just want to congratulate you. Fabulous job. Look forward to more updates as we go along.
Absolutely. And, it's great to be here on the show. It's great to have your audience and the visibility here that you bring to the company. So, we're going to get the job done. It's clearly coming, and I'm still investing more money in the company, and we've got some great things. We're going to restructure our debt here in the very near future. We're going to wipe out a lot of the overhang that we've got in some of our derivatives and warrants and things like that. I've got active negotiations going on right now to clean up our balance sheet and get rid of all of our debt, and bring some new capital in and probably take us back up on a national exchange would be my goal here, I hope in the next couple of quarters. So, we've got a lot of ambition here and a lot of motivation to continue to, execute on the plan that we've started. So.
Well, thanks again for joining us so much.